Donttap presents The Couch vs. the Coach, a new podcast that pits your favorite capper against your favorite coach. The hardcore versus the fighter, the homework versus the real work. They go head-to-head making picks and you benefit. New year, new show, let's f***ing go.
Another edition of The Couch vs. the Coach. A little bit of a hiatus. So now we have Dissection of Violence, pretty much the ringer, the guy who has the training in his back pocket, spending time in gyms, and then also being one of the top cappers out there. So you have sort of both sides of the fence. But you're going up against a guy who I think has, one of the sharper MMA minds, a guy who has broken down fights on our podcast before and been pretty bang on with things. And, someone who's coached many, many fighters, made many, many walks. Mike Malott, I know obviously coming off of a situation for yourself in Toronto, not the ideal scenario for yourself. And, we'll hash that out and talk about that another day. But I just glad to have you on the podcast. Glad to have you back rolling here. And welcome to the podcast. And you're actually out in Vegas.
I am, yeah. Walking around downtown Vegas right now, getting some training in at the PI.
Nice, man. So you're going to go head-to-head with Dissection of Violence and see if you can take this guy off of his perch, off of his throne. But first, Mike, you can bring your first spot unless you want Jaden to take his first spot. What would you like to do?
Go ahead, Jaden.
Okay. He defers to you.
Awesome. I'll start off with my lock of the week. What do you want to call it? I guess I like Christian Leroy Duncan. He's just got that swagger, man, and he's fighting somebody who. It's one of those fights where one should be in the UFC and one shouldn't, and it's not really one you got to overthink. Should be a first round or second round TKO for Duncan. He's too smart on the feet, and someone swinging haymakers out his head he's just used to that at this point. So, better he's faced much better competition. It should be a pretty straightforward pick.
And Mike, you can sort of give any add on to that if you want to. Otherwise, you can jump in with your pick next.
I'll start off with one of my easier picks. This one's not going to shock anybody. Umar Nurmagomedov. I see him taking this one. It's, he's a beast, man. I think that guy's going to make some serious waves in this division, so I don't see his momentum slowing down anytime soon.
Okay, so Christian Leroy Duncan minus 310. We have Umar Nurmagomedov coming in at, you can get him at minus 1,000. But still, both, it's a good strategic play by Malott because it's still worth the same points in this game. Both chalk, both 1 point. If they both hit, which they probably will, we're good to go. So, yeah, Umar Nurmagomedov, pretty heavy favorite. I can't see ways that he loses otherwise. Like a banana peel slip, that would be the only thing. Christian Leroy Duncan's a little bit of a volatile fight, but yeah, I see what you're saying with Ribeiro. He's hittable, and both guys have that power to put you out, and I think that he's likely going to be the B side in this one. So both two good looks. So likely I could see you both walking away with a point in round one, and we'll go into round two with some more grease. What do we got here? Dissection of Violence, what are you going to bring to the table?
I'll throw my free play out. So we got Gaziev, a little bit unproven as a heavyweight, but I trust Team KHK. Bahrain has had a lot of really good prospects over there, and I really rate the confidence of that gym. The talent over there is crazy. He's a bit hittable, which worries me against a heavy hitter like Rozenstruik. But with Rozenstruik, it's counter shots, and honestly, if you can't get you out of there in round one, and honestly, it's weird with Rozenstruik because he does have 5-round experience, but he's not gonna beat you by decision, and especially with Gaziev being more well-rounded, I just don't think it's gonna happen. So if you're banking on someone just because they have a round one KO chance, it's not really a smart tactic. I do like Gaziev. I do think he has the tools to win this fight relatively easily. Will he? I don't know, but I'm gonna trust him here.
Yeah, much more well-rounded set. Rozenstruik it really is that big punch, right? And he does set it up decently, but it's still, you are right, although he has a 5-round experience, he starts to fade, loses some of that power on his punches and respect of his opponents as the fight wears on as well too. So Mike, you can also add on that, talk about that one quickly and/or just bring in your next spot.
Yeah, I'll go with my next one. This one I'm betting more with, just as much with my heart as anything else, but I'm going Ayman Zahabi, man. Love the guy. He's a beast, super technical, great MMA mind, has, a great MMA mind obviously in his corner and for us. He's got a tough matchup this weekend, but, he's a beast, man. He's looked really good in a lot of his fights, and I'm calling Zahabi on this one.
He's going with Ariel Helwani, a plus 607 dog. This is a 3-point play if this hits. Zahabi obviously presents pretty solid power, lower volume versus Basharat. Basharat's actually going to be one of our plays on the other end on the Donttap podcast. Just with regards to the volume on the feet, it's going to be a little bit of a problem. I don't see Zahabi getting taken down too much, but it's going to be interesting. I think he's going to be probably out volume to a decision. Basharat's just so good. Zahabi, vet, sneaky power. Could catch him, most definitely. Plus 607. A little bit disrespectful.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a little bit disrespectful. The guy's been around for time and could still find a way. So, yeah. I could see the value on the line 100%.
It's not find a way like it's, it's an amateur, the pro here, man. He's a solid fighter, dude. He's really good, Like even fights where he lost, like fought my boy Ricardo Ramos and got hit with that spinning elbow. Like he's looking good in that fight until so like he's a dude, the guy's good, man. Like this isn't. I don't see it as like he's got to find some way to win. Like the guy's good, man.
And you know what? And that's why I appreciate, now that you jump in the second dissection, I appreciate having both your takes on this and having some people with background in fighting and been training in pros as well, because, Zahabi, I know that he is a vet, and a lot of people are in love with Basharat right now. They're in love with his striking. They're in love with his stand-up. And sometimes we get too in love. And I think dissection, you actually mentioned this on the last podcast. Sometimes you get so in love with the name and you start betting on the name and betting on the name. And they hit a level of competition and they get a competition check. So what were you going to say, sir?
I really like Zahabi. This is a hard fight for Basharat. Basharat also fights guys lower level. Like the Mendoza win, being as somewhat close as it was, is just a terrible look in hindsight. And honestly, I think Zahabi is much more skilled than Mendoza. And I think he's also much more technical in his striking, where he can set shots up, where even though Basharat does have a good chin, it just takes one. And I know they're in a smaller weight class, but I still think Zahabi can crack and find the chin early. I don't know who's going to win exactly that fight, because I honestly would line it -2, -300 at most. Basharat, this is actually ridiculous, the odds they have out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Definitely a lot of value there.
Yeah, I mean, Zahabi he's able to slow down the fight. It's a style like Kyle Nelson. He presents that power. He is a little bit lower volume, but he slows you down to his fight and then sets you up on his counters. So definitely a lot of value there on the line. I will let you bring in your final spot, Mr. Mike Malott.
Last one, I'm going with another safe bet. I'm going Makayev.
I like it.
Hype train, man. The guy's good. I'm going with, this one. Maybe I am betting on the name a little bit more than anything. But the guy's got a name for a reason. He's a beast. He's shown that he can fight through adversity. He hasn't just had an easy walk. He's had to battle back at times and had to survive some tough positions, and he's shown that he could do that.
Yeah, good spot. It's one of our spots on the podcast too. Makayev, I think a lot of people are on him, but I've been sort of staying off him the whole time he's been in the UFC, because I've been sort of unsure as to where he's at. But the guy has proven time and time again, like you said, he got injured in his last fight and still ends up, gutting it out and winning that fight. So he's a guy that will fight for the dollar, a guy that will fight for himself, obviously, in the cage. And definitely like that pick, definitely like Makayev. And I'll be looking at that sub is there all day as well, too. I like Makayev inside the distance. So
round 3 sub.
Yeah, round 3 sub is the sprinkle and the way to go. Billy Briz of Pub Sports Radio, he thinks it's 1 or 2. He thinks Makayev can come in here early and do something, but I think it's going to be a little bit later in the fight, late 2, 3.
His fourth. If he gets a 3rd round sub, will be his 4th in a row. That'll be pretty insane.
Yeah, he's got a system, man. Like, he grinds you down, you overshoot, He takes out that submission. So, okay. Let's bring your next spot to the table. Dissection of Violence.
Honestly, I was thinking about going with a dog shot, but when they're giving me free money out like that, I gotta take Ludovic Klein versus AJ Cunningham. Another mismatch. I don't see how Cunningham is in the UFC after his performance. He nearly died in his Dana White Contender Series fight, and yeah, like he's tough. I'll give it to him, but
That fight was made this week, wasn't it?
Sorry.
But that fight was made this week, wasn't it? Klein didn't.
Yeah,
That
short
was
notice.
just really short notice. So this is
Yeah,
like
those-
in the UFC a favor.
Yeah, he's a parlay piece this week for us, a little bit Klein. I mean, with Cunningham, it's like, even if you don't really know much about Cunningham, his Dana White Contender Series combined with the fact that it's short notice, it's a system sort of situation. It never bodes well. And coming in short notice, they usually lose, and it's his way to get a contract and be able to fight on another card. So I'm with that. So Ludovic Klein, what's that lined out currently right now? What do we got?
It's chalky, but it's like square, so I'm gonna take it.
That's okay.
I don't see a lot of squares usually, so I'm gonna take it.
So basically, if Ariel Helwani wins, Mike probably whoops your ass in this.
That's fine.
That's what it's going to come down. That's where this is going to come down to. Otherwise, it could be neck and neck with your other picks sort of going head to head. So I definitely like it. And Mike, you see where we do it like this. I love getting it's short, it's sweet. You just do a quick picks. You have like a point system, make it fun, and have there's a couple cappers I want to put in their place with having some fighters on here that sort of dissect their shit, and vice versa. Have a couple fighters on here to show them what these cappers can do and how much time they actually spend, and the time on the tape and all those things as well too. So, but Mike, you're out of the PI right now. How has it been? You've been out there for a couple of days now, or?
I just got in last night, man. Just got some training and some testing in done this morning. Got more the next couple days. Sounds like they're going to try and make me puke tomorrow. I'm in. Let's do it.
They're just going to, what, do they just push your endurance to the limit and see where all your numbers are?
Pretty much, I guess so.
They're just trying to see what kind of superhuman you are. So, all right, brother. Well, for you, I know that, like I said, we talked about Toronto, and I definitely want to have you come on another podcast, and we'll talk more about, what happened in Toronto and what the plans are, and, the build back. And I'm excited about it because there's no one that I think that this would fuel more than you, to have that sort of that clink in the armor, what happened in Toronto, and then you use that to turn it around and run a system and a play with a little bit of a fucking chip on your shoulder. Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, yeah, you nailed it completely.
Couch versus the coach. Does Mike Malott take out Dissection of Violence? We shall see. Tune into the Donttap podcast.